Pros may be the best of the best when it comes to Rocket League players, but that doesn't mean that they don't make mistakes. And in today's video, we'll be discussing some of the biggest mistakes that were made by Gentlemates in the grand finals of the first European Open qualifier. We're going to be taking a look here at a couple of goals that were conceded by Gentlemates here in Game 5 of the Grand Finals, which ended up putting them in a terrible spot in this series. We're going to be on board with Juicy here of Gentlemates, and let's see this first play that we're going to want to take a look at. So Seiko, we're going to clear the ball out. Rise going to get a blocking touch. Itachi up into the air. Seiko and Juicy now both flying into the corner. Seiko does get the clear. Ball coming back across, Juicy's going to jump right back into the corner, and it's going to be a goal for Karmine Corp. So let's go ahead and roll this back just a little bit and see the positions that Juicy gets himself in. So as he lands off the wall here, we have Seiko clearing this ball out, so Juicy's pretty comfortable to just kind of chill, drive around the field, maybe pick up some small pads to help fill up his boost tanks, just kind of see generally where this play goes, so we know where we want to position off of it. So Seiko does get the clear. Juicy's gonna pull up along the back line just to give himself plenty of space as this play develops. Now as Seiko pushes this ball downfield, Juicy is gonna grab this one small pad here as he turns back to net, since Rise is gonna get this blocking touch, and Juicy will not have the boost to jump up for it. So we're just gonna chill out nice and calm here on the back line, let Itachi jump up for it. So far, perfectly fine in everything we're doing here. Rise is gonna get this touch, and now here's where we're gonna see our first mistake. So Juicy is still on fairly low boost, but at this point, we can see our teammate streaking back into the corner, utilizing a good chunk of boost as he's going, and going supersonic. So what that should say to us, even if there is no comms here, is that Seiko is planning on going towards the back wall, which is where this ball is going. So the last thing we want to do is put ourselves and a teammate in the same spot on the field, because it just really limits the ability we have to control the space. Now, assuming that we do also have comms in this situation that Seiko is saying he is going to go get this ball, this would be a great opportunity for Juicy to start to think about turning up the field here in preparation for a pass to come through from Seiko. Now, this is a little bit risky just because we are last man and our other player is floating through the air, so maybe we do play a little bit more patient here just in regards to that and not full send upfield. But you know, if we're just sitting in this area as we see the clear coming out, then maybe we can make an aggressive turn upfield and at least be there to challenge the next oncoming attacker. But instead, none of that happens, and Juicy instead makes the odd decision that he is going to burn all of his boost pretty much and jump up for a very awkward ball in the corner, now putting himself and Seiko in the same spot on the field. Now, Seiko does get the clear, and Juicy does land off this challenge, so okay, awkward double commit for sure, but you know, we're alright. Itachi's landed on the ground, Juicy has the backline covered, Seiko's just gotten a fairly decent clear, so nothing too terrible has come from this first awkward jump, so nothing to worry about. Double commits happen, all good. Juicy's gonna recover off this wall, and now we're watching this touch from a toe coming forward, because if this shot is coming onto net, then that will be Juicy's responsibility to attempt to get a touch on and force it out to the corner. But as soon as we see that this ball is going into the corner, then we need to pay attention to what our teammates are doing. If we see them working into the corner as well, we want to make sure that we are not putting ourselves in the same spot as them. Because again, if we cluster up in the corner, all the opposing team has to do is basically beat one of us, and they've beaten all of us. So as we look here from Juicy's perspective, we're going to see, okay, this touch is going to the corner, and now we can see that both of our teammates are heading in that direction. Certainly a very awkward situation as Itachi has kind of landed on Seiko with his hat flip, and that's going to cause an awkward situation going into the corner. The reality of this situation, though, is that this touch from Itao into this corner really is not all that dangerous. Sure, he might be able to get some kind of crazy angle back on net in some form of double tap, but if we are just patiently waiting along this back line, we have the angle to jump up to challenge that if it does happen. We can also look to the back here and see that neither of the other two KC players are in an overly threatening position to pounce on any kind of pass from a toe should it come out from this corner as well. So in Juicy's position here, we don't want to put ourselves in the same spot as our teammates, and we're still on fairly low resources. So what we could do as this touch comes into the corner and our teammates are heading over there is look to see if we can maybe snag an additional pad in addition to this one and just calmly position along the back post of the net to be prepared for whatever comes next. But instead, Juicy is again going to burn all of his boost to jump up for this ball very aggressively. And now at this exact moment, if we look in Juicy's cam, in one simple circle, we can grab all three players of Gentlemates into one area of the field. Now sure, players may get clumped up from time to time, but if you can ever see both of your teammates this close together in one shot from a player cam, you're probably in bad positions. I understand the thought process here because we saw how awkward our teammates were, but we also need to recognize, is this touch from a toe scary? If he doubles this, if we were still in our position along the back line, near the back post, any touch that a toe is going to get out, unless it is the best touch on the face of the planet, we will be able to deal with and will be able to control a touch into the corner where maybe Itachi or Seiko can continue on their merry way. But by diving into the corner like this, even if we do get a touch, what exactly is it accomplishing? Because if we hit this ball back off the backboard, it essentially functions as the same pass a toe might have been going for. If we pinch it out to the corner, maybe Seiko can turn upfield, but we still have all three of us in a very awkward position. So there's not much to gain from diving in a ball like this. Maybe we're going for a block, but any touch we're going to get is still going to keep the ball in a very awkward spot. All three of us are incredibly slow to recover from here, and we are just giving KC total control of not only the field, but the offensive half especially. So a little bit more patience from Juicy here I think would be very beneficial in this overall play. Because now we do get the demo, but this pass does come through from a toe. Rise is right there to pounce on it, and because we're now all sitting in the corner, we have a very difficult shot coming over the shoulder for Itachi. And because of the situation he was in, it is almost impossible for him to be able to get up to this ball in time. But let's imagine for just a brief second that Juicy was, say, over here or maybe even in the net. This is a much easier ball to attack as opposed to Itachi trying to save it from over his shoulder. So moral of the story with this play, we really want to see a little bit more patience. Yes, we're playing at an extremely fast pace, but there is still very good opportunities to be a bit more patient around the field. Just because there is a player roughly air dribbling towards your net does not mean you need to full send at that ball as fast as you possibly can, even if your teammates are found in an awkward position. It's also very important to keep yourself and your teammates on the same page as to who is going for balls so that you don't end up in the same spot as your teammate without really any boost to use out of that situation. Unfortunately for Gentlemates, this situation does go from bad to worse, as we're just going to fast forward just a little bit to the ensuing kickoff, and we're going to see how things go downhill even further. So Itachi going to take this kickoff here. It does get past Juicy. Itachi grabs the mid boost as Seiko gets the clear, then cuts across to Demo Vatira. Juicy gets beat out, awkward touch from a toe, and then Itachi gets clipped by a toe as he tries to jump, which leads to the next goal for KC. So let's go back here, and we're going to start on board with Itachi here as we take this kickoff. Interesting kickoff. Looks like we're trying to dead kill it in the middle or maybe play it back right to our corner player in Seiko. Just doesn't quite work out, and it just gets by Juicy on the cheetah. Seiko, though, is able to come right on over and challenge this ball off of Vatira and get the clear. So now here's where we're going to see our first moment here from Itachi. So we've just picked up this mid boost, fantastic, we are on 100. Now we just need to look at the situation our team finds ourselves in. So Juicy on low boost is rotating back, and Seiko has just taken this challenge and is in the middle of a flip in the air. we can see that Ato is directly facing this play, so one can assume that the next player up on the ball will more than likely be Ato, even if a challenge does come through from one of our players. So as we play this forward slightly, we're going to see Itachi make a very aggressive turn into the midfield, as Seiko is very clearly beat on this play. Now, it seems like he's going for this demo on Vatira, which already in itself is a bit of an interesting choice, just because Vatira is currently on 0 boost, and by demoing him, we're not really giving us any kind of advantage, outside of sending him back to his own half, and allowing him to respawn with 33, which actually strengthens their defense. So if our thought here is that Seiko is maybe going to get a challenge and drop the ball into the midfield where we might be able to attack it then, that is probably not going to transpire before both Rise and Vatira have respawned and are boosted up and prepared to play defense. So an interesting decision to cut this overall, especially considering that you have a player rotating back on very low boost and a teammate more than likely being beat by a toe, just based on the look of this freeze frame here. So if I'm Itachi in this situation, threatening the bump on Vatira is relatively fine, but I would like to see us make a less aggressive push upfield and instead rotate back to be able to support our teammates, especially knowing that they are on quite low boost. But instead here, Itachi is going to go for the demo, and that is going to put him completely out of position and leave Juicy back completely by himself. So now let's look at what Juicy has had happen in this play. So he cheats up on the kickoff, and now he's going to rotate back and look for some small pads, as we know that Seiko has taken this back boost. So if I'm Juicy here, we know that this back boost is gone. So now the question is, what path on the field can we take to get as many pads as possible? And the answer is this line along the field right here. Basically right where this orange printing is, if he can get himself on this line and just drive straight, he will get himself 36 boost as he's rotating back. This pad will be respawning as he's heading back, but even if it doesn't, picking up this pad and this pad is certainly better than being back here with 0. So let's see the boost path that he ends up taking. He ends up missing this first one. That second one has respawned for him, so he is going to grab that one, but now because of the direction he flips out of the way of the third. So now instead of being back here with 36 boost, he's back here with only 12, which is going to cause a lot of problems when, let's say, he wants to possibly be able to turn upfield and challenge this ball. So this is a combination of a couple of things going wrong. First of all, Itachi being stuck in the midfield and not being the support behind Juicy, and Juicy being on that low boost, not being able to get up here to challenge Ato. This combination is going to allow Ato to get the next touch forward and the double tap pass off the backboard to his oncoming teammate in Rise. So Ato gonna get this challenge. Obviously Juicy can't get up in time because he only has 12 boost. Maybe in this situation he could just attempt to double jump instead of saving the second jump. He doesn't use both jumps. He saves the second one and will use it after the ball is over the top of him. Right there. But if he double jumps, maybe he can get up to get a challenge on Ato here. But either way, it really is that lack of boost that is going to put him in the awkward position. Now Itachi has gotten back, but he is a lot later to get back than he would have been if he had just threatened the demo and rotated back right away, as opposed to challenging so aggressively in the midfield. And now, because of his slightly late rotation, he is in a much more awkward spot to try to get around Ato here, as opposed to if he would be able to come out of net and jump over Ato to get this challenge. He has to drive directly around him, as he has to turn to face this ball, and because of that, Ato is able to chip him just a little bit and prevent Itachi from jumping exactly as he would like to, and because of everything up to this point, Seiko and Juicy simply not back in time, and that leads to a goal just like that. So this one, from Itachi's perspective, is really all about what exactly is worth going for. Do we get any massive benefit from taking Vatira off the field if we're really just putting ourselves out of position to do so? In this situation, as we can tell, not only did we not gain an advantage, but we also gave an advantage to our opponents by weakening our own defense. And then from Juicy's perspective, we need to be more careful about making sure we are acquiring resources when we desperately need them. We can't find ourselves in position with only 12 boost, when if we had just a little bit more, we'd be able to make an effective play. And that really is the fine line between success and failure in the RLCS. The difference between having 12 boost and 36 is the difference between being able to get a clear and getting scored on. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you that made it to this point in the video, and I do hope you got something out of it. If you did enjoy, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below, so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, if you'd like to be a bit more involved in the community that we're building here, feel free to join my Discord, which I'll have linked down in the description. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.